Hi, my name is Brian. If this is your first year as a new dad, this video is for you. My first year as a father came in 2020, then again in 2022, and once more in 2025. As a new dad early on, I kept the hard questions to myself. Now I'm going back to them, so you don't have to go through this alone. So, what will I remember about this time when my kid is grown? With week 3, you don't remember everything that happened, but you definitely remember all the emotions it made you feel, right? If you're a new dad, you don't really, it's hard to process all of these emotions right away, right? It's week 3, you might be feeling, and I know I did, just everything, right? Fatigue, joy, maybe loneliness, resistance, anger, maybe a loss of identity. Man, you feel it all, right? I probably missed a few emotions in there, but it's all encompassing, right? And you won't remember the specific diaper that you changed, or the poopy diaper that exploded, or getting peed on, right? You won't remember all those moments, but you remember the man it's beginning to turn you into. Because I know for me, like with my first child in week 3, it was hard to process it all, right? Like, you don't rarely does a moment like this in your life shock the system this much and make you this uncomfortable. Because I remember my week 3, I felt it all, right? I was definitely overwhelmed. Didn't know if I could do it all. I was definitely fatigued. Didn't know when I would get a full night's rest. I felt a little lonely because, me and my wife weren't as close. We were both trying to grasp what had just happened to us. My baby wasn't quite smiling and giving me body language yet, so I think I lost some self-esteem. I just didn't know if I could do it. You see all these videos online of just dads showing their proud moments and their happy moments, and it just wasn't me early on, right? And yeah, I definitely felt like I just lost a sense of myself, right? I lost who I was, right? Because you remember just living your life a certain way up to a certain point, and then the baby comes and everything changes. But what I didn't see at the time, and what I realize now 5 years later and 3 kids later, is that all those emotions were, and me struggling to cope with all those emotions, was because it was just changing me into a different person. And I was resisting it. And that's why I felt so uncomfortable. There's areas of my personality that aren't so great, right? Like my impatience, some anger issues, some anxiety, right? Like, I've always had those emotions, those bad emotions, those negative emotions, if you want to call it, but week 3 just brought those emotions to light, right? Just amplified them to a point where I just didn't know what to, how to I just didn't know how to manage, honestly. I just didn't know how to manage. And that's the one thing I'll always remember is not the actual functional items, like changing a diaper, bathing a baby, swaddling a baby. I remember bits and pieces of that, but I always remember how it made me feel and the bad qualities it brought to light and how it made me realize I probably had to change. And that's what happens when you become somebody different, right? You try to become somebody better, try to self-improve, is that you feel uncomfortable early on. And I just didn't know it at the time. And you might not know it at the current time, and it's that you can't hide anymore, right? Like some of those qualities you can kind of hide from your friends and maybe even your wife, right? Because you're not as vulnerable. But when you have a baby and you're taking care of a baby, there's nowhere to hide, right? Like it will bring those things out of you. And it will make you see how bad they are, right? See how much you have to change, because this isn't going to work if this is only going to get harder, right? So if you can't get a grasp of it now, it's only going to get worse. So all I would say to you is, embrace some of that discomfort. Try to feel all the emotions, because that shows you're alive, right? That shows that you're only human. It's perfectly reasonable for everybody to feel all those gambit of emotions, because this is a big change in your life, right? And it happens so suddenly, and there's no class that you went to for it. But all I would say is, be patient, right? Be patient. Because for me, 5 years later, I'm still a bit impatient. I still have my temper tantrum every now and then, but I'm better. I'm a lot better. And it's a daily struggle every day. But knowing what I know now, I would tell my younger self to just hang in there. The light's gonna eventually come out, and sometimes when you have to reinvent yourself, it takes a bit of deconstruction, right? It takes a bit of loss of identity, a lot of shedding. But sitting here today now, it's when my child was born, it was obviously the beginning of his life, right? But I think for me, it was also the reinvention of mine. And that's something I have, it's something that I always will be thankful for. Thankful for, thankful for the opportunity that I was able to become a dad. And yeah. Okay, I'll see you in week number 4.